During the Cold War era, the US and Soviet Union were engaged in many off-field battles, which included technological warfare, nuclear weapons and missile capabilities, and financial and business warfare, all of which led to the creation of powerful organizations like the CIA, DARPA, and it even led to the creation of the Internet. However, one of their greatest battles was the race for space colonization. The Soviet Union was the first to launch a satellite into Earth's orbit in the mid to late 1950s, followed by the launching of Sputnik 1 spacecraft to the moon. Not long after this, the US joined the race, and in less than 2 decades, they were the first to land a man on the moon. During this time, the Soviet Union and the US were the only superpowers and the only nations that had the money and the technology to go to the moon and other planets. But all of a sudden, these nations started losing interest in exploring the moon further. The US focused on Mars, while the Soviets focused on Venus. In 1972, the US stopped sending rovers on the moon. The Soviet Union did the same in 1974. But how can this be? These nations were well known for their constant tensions and their relentless efforts to become the greatest nation on Earth. But why the sudden change of mind by not one, but instead both nations? Surely, they have encountered something on the moon, something that is not a small feat, but these nations were the most revered and feared on Earth. What could be so terrifying on the moon that is capable of stopping their colonization journey? Indeed, there was something on the moon that made them broke, that they had to stop their exploration and sign a non-disclosure agreement, which said they would not have to report anything about the moon findings. Today, there are more superpowers who are also eager to explore the moon for themselves. India is sending Shiva 1, and China is sending Chang'e 6. However, they never agreed to the US and Russian non-disclosure. China would even broadcast to the world what they will see. Yutu 2 was sent to the dark side of the moon, and together with Shiva 1, they were sent to look for microbes such as bacterial forms of life. But instead of finding microbial life, they landed near an archaeological site dated to be over 50,000 years old. The moon has long been a subject of fascination and mystery, particularly regarding its unique characteristics and the implications of its existence for Earth. Its orbit is distinct from that of other moons in the solar system. Unlike many moons that have highly elliptical orbits, the moon follows a nearly circular path around Earth. The moon's orbit aligns closely with the plane of Earth's revolution around the sun, which is not the case for other moons. It is tidally locked to Earth, meaning it rotates on its axis in the same time it takes to orbit Earth, always showing the same face to our planet. In simple terms, the moon takes 21 Earth days to achieve a full rotation of itself. Scientific theories suggest that the moon formed from debris resulting from a giant impact between Earth and a Mars-sized body called Theia. This event is believed to have occurred about 4.5 billion years ago, shortly after Earth's formation. Many indigenous cultures have stories and traditions that reference the moon and its significance. Most of these cultures give an account of a time when there was no moon. The Bible mentions the creation of the moon in Genesis, stating that God created the moon to govern the night and to serve as a marker for time, Genesis 1 verses 14 to 19. This suggests that the moon was intended to play a crucial role in the natural order from the beginning of time. The formation of the moon had profound effects on Earth. Its gravitational pull is the primary driver of Earth's tides. The moon also helps stabilize Earth's axial tilt, which is crucial for maintaining a balanced climate. Without the moon, Earth's tilt could vary more dramatically, leading to extreme seasonal changes that could threaten life. In general, the absence of the moon means life on Earth would not be as we know it. Well, that's all about the relationship between the moon and the Earth. As for Earth, we all know it's occupied by us, but who lives on the moon? In 1977, the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, officially established the Stargate project at Fort Meade, Maryland, in collaboration with Stanford Research Institute International, a California contractor. The Stargate project was a secret U.S. Army initiative that aimed to investigate the potential applications of psychic phenomena, particularly remote viewing, for military and intelligence purposes. Remote viewing is the claimed ability to perceive or describe details about a distant or unseen target using extrasensory perception. The project recruited a small group of individuals, typically comprising about 15 to 20 participants. Many of these volunteers were drawn from various backgrounds, including military personnel and civilians with purported psychic abilities. The selection process often involves testing and evaluating potential candidates for their psychic skills, although specific details about the recruitment methods are less documented. The Stargate project continued until its termination in 1995. In 2006, CIA documents on the Stargate program participants were released, and among these was a man named Ingo Swann, a man who has more to say as far as the Stargate project is concerned. Before 2006, Swann had talked about his participation in psychical research programs. He talked about his different remote viewing experiences, which included projecting his view on certain symbols, viewing different places on Earth, and even the solar system, where he came across something on the moon. Something so profound that if it turns out to be true, it would be the most significant encounter humans could ever make in the 20th century. The answer to Swann's findings was the existence of extraterrestrials on the moon, where he said, "They are already here and building structures on the far side of the moon, but they are not friendly." When Ingo Swann wrote these in his book, many people were skeptical about his claims and quickly dismissed his story, calling it a hoax. But the 2006 documents proved he might be correct. Ingo Swann was an influential figure in the field of parapsychology, particularly known for his pioneering work in remote viewing. He was born on September 14, 1933, in Telluride, Colorado. Swann had experienced out-of-body experiences from a young age, which sparked his interest in psychic phenomena. He is also credited with coining the term remote viewing, which refers to the ability to perceive or describe details about a distant or unseen target using extrasensory perception. His work in this area gained significant attention during the 1970s. Swann's abilities caught the interest of the CIA, leading to his involvement in the Stargate project. Swann participated in various experiments at the Stanford Research Institute, where he demonstrated his remote viewing skills. One of Swann's most famous experiences was when he successfully described features of Jupiter before NASA's Voyager probe arrived, showcasing his purported abilities in remote viewing. He also contributed to the development of controlled remote viewing techniques, which were used in the Stargate project. Ingo Swann continued to write and speak about his experiences and beliefs in psychic phenomena until his passing on January 31, 2013, in New York City. His work remains influential in discussions about the potential of human consciousness and psychic abilities. Swann's accuracy about Jupiter was nothing short of astonishing, so in 1972, he received a call where he was told to go to Washington, D.C. While he was standing in the Museum of Natural History, Ingo Swann encountered two individuals he referred to as the twins, who had a distinctive presence that intrigued him. Their interactions involved nonverbal communication, where he was given pieces of information in note papers and a listening device. Swann experienced heightened awareness and psychic phenomena during their meetings, feeling guided in exploring his abilities. The twins took him to a significant remote location using a helicopter, although the specifics of the place were not detailed. In Ingo Swann's account, the twins took him to a quiet building after leaving the helicopter. To Swann, the twins seemed to have a special purpose. The atmosphere was calm, allowing for focused interactions. Inside the building, they entered an elevator. This elevator was described as having a unique quality, contributing to the sense of entering a different realm or state of consciousness. Upon reaching their destination, Swann met Mr. Axelrod, who was a key figure in the context of the discussions that followed. Mr. Axelrod was portrayed as someone with authority and knowledge regarding the projects related to psychic phenomena. During their meeting, discussions revolved around potential proposals and deals concerning the use of psychic abilities for intelligence and military purposes. Mr. Axelrod presented various ideas about how Swann's abilities could be utilized, emphasizing the strategic advantages of remote viewing in gathering intelligence. At this, Mr. Axelrod had a reason to make a monetary proposal to him. Swann would receive $1,000 per day if he worked with them. Swann saw this money as a great opportunity for him, even though he really didn't understand what they really wanted him to do, but he agreed anyway. $1,000 at the time is an equivalent to $6,000 today. The more reason why no one would want to miss such a chance. During a meeting with Mr. Axelrod the following day, Swann was asked to use his remote viewing abilities to explore the moon. At first he was anxious about it and hesitated for some time, but since he was told he could only report what he saw, they wouldn't expect him to talk about what he did not see, he agreed to remote view the moon. Axelrod provided him with a list of specific coordinates that he would focus on one by one. These series of coordinates corresponded to different locations on the moon. He was instructed to mentally travel to each coordinate sequentially, allowing him to gather information about each site. While focusing on one of the coordinates, Swan reported discovering a crater that emitted a green diffused light. This observation was particularly striking because, scientifically, the moon lacks an atmosphere, making the presence of such light seemingly impossible. Swan described the first location he encountered as an airfield. He noted that this area was characterized by the green light emanating from the crater. The airfield appeared to be a structured site, suggesting the possibility of artificial constructs or activities occurring there. Swan entered the field and encountered a window-like structure that appeared to be part of the airfield. This structure was not merely a physical barrier, but seemed to serve as a portal or interface between different realms of perception. Upon entering the structure, he saw thousands of different kinds of carvings on the green walls. He recounted that they looked like the carvings commonly found in ancient cultures, such as the Egyptian and Aztec cultures, but weren't in any way connected to them. Swan realized that humanoid beings were present. These beings were aware of his presence and could see him. Swan felt that they were not only observing him, but also engaging with him on a psychic level. But his feelings about these beings was not so good, it was horrifying. Axelrod became increasingly anxious when he understood that the humanoid beings were not only aware of Swan's presence, but were actively watching him. Axelrod knew that these beings possessed psychic abilities, which added to his concern. He understood that their awareness could pose a threat to Swan, as they might have the capability to interact with or influence him on a psychic level. So, he immediately demanded Swan to leave the place. After completing his remote viewing session and returning to his physical body, Swan confronted Axelrod about the situation. He expressed his concerns regarding why Axelrod had allowed him to remain in a vulnerable state while being observed by the humanoid beings. Swan questioned Axelrod's judgment in permitting him to engage with entities that were clearly aware of his presence and had psychic capabilities. So, they stopped there for the day. Axelrod and Ingo Swan had another program they undertook after then, and that was the last time they ever met. It was after these programs that he realized Mr. Axelrod and the twins were CIA agents. Now you might say, but it's just a psychic's experience, nothing more. What if I tell you there are other people who think Ingo Swan was correct, and the moon landing could prove it? On May 25, 1961, President John F. Kennedy urged Congress to land a man on the moon before the decade ended, sparking the space race between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. The accomplishment meant not only national pride, but also technological and military superiority. By 1965, lunar probes revealed the moon's dark side, prompting both superpowers to realize they were late in claiming it. A humorous exchange reveals an urgent need for a company credit card, leading to a comical pitch for a homemade jam business called Toe Jam. Amidst this, the conversation shifts to the Apollo 11 mission on July 21, 1969, where Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon, while Michael Collins orbited alone, experiencing lengthy communication blackouts with Earth. Collins also heard strange sounds during his isolation, akin to a whistle. Previous missions, like Apollo 10, had picked up similar mysterious signals, and some believe that NASA might have lost crucial audio tapes documenting these anomalies. Despite lost recordings, discussions show that Armstrong and Aldrin likely witnessed something unusual on the moon. As their transcripts indicate odd sightings, they're watching us. Discovery raises the suspicion of a cover-up surrounding extraterrestrial evidence. The mission included leaving a peace symbol and a disc with goodwill messages from world leaders, raising questions about why they would do this if the moon appeared uninhabited. Testimonies from whistleblowers like Carl Wolf and Dr. Ken Johnston reveal NASA might have hidden evidence of structures and alien technology on the moon. NASA employees assert that their images of the lunar surface were often sanitized to eliminate potential UFO sightings. Records indicate that astronauts saw various unidentified objects and structures during missions, yet many crucial photographs were reportedly destroyed or withheld. Over the years, multiple anomalies have been documented, including unusual shapes and potential constructions, but NASA generally dismisses them as artifacts of light or misinterpretation. Despite landing on the moon, both U.S. and Soviet agendas shifted away from lunar exploration, possibly indicating a mutual agreement to avoid further missions, suggested by the lack of later expeditions after the 1972 Apollo 17 mission. The narrative implies that an unseen power, possibly alien, could dominate the moon, complicating the history of humanity's contact with space. The moon was left for 34 years without any significant exploration activity, until recently, when other nations picked some interest in exploring it. In 2019, China's moon rover, Yutu-2, made significant discoveries during its exploration on the far side of the moon, including findings that have sparked interest in the possibility of an archaeological site. During its exploration, Yutu-2 discovered an unusually colored, gel-like substance on the lunar surface. This was accompanied by the discovery of ancient ruins, temples, and pyramid-like structures dated to be approximately 50,000 years old. This discovery occurred on Lunar Day 8, which began on July 25, 2019. The team was somehow intrigued by the unusual color and texture of the material, which differed from the surrounding lunar regolith, suggesting a possibility of artificial influence. The discovery is reminiscent of past lunar surprises, such as the orange soil found by Apollo 17 astronauts, which was linked to volcanic activity. The Chang'e 4 mission, which includes Yutu-2, continues to explore the far side of the moon, aiming to gather more data and insights. The rover's findings contribute to a growing body of knowledge about the moon's surface and its geological processes, potentially leading to further discoveries that could be classified as archaeological in nature. And yes, many folks think the discovery of the archaeological site on the moon is classified, and just like the other claims, this one is not also broadcasted by the media. So, this makes us to ponder. Are these claims real or just another piece of trash? Well, I can't tell. After all, our governments are good at keeping things secret. In any case, we all can tell that they have many cover-ups and secret agendas that we'll never get to know. But what about the claims of the other whistleblowers we mentioned earlier? Ingo Swan's account and Apollo mission's whistleblowers' claims. Which is true and what is not? Astronauts did hear something unusual when they passed the moon's far side, but NASA insists it was just radio interference, a claim astronaut Al Warden's doubts. Apollo 8 made a light-hearted remark about seeing Santa Claus during their Christmas Eve mission, which was merely a joke. Notably, Apollo 11 left behind a gold olive branch and a silicon disc with goodwill messages, although there were moments when Buzz Aldrin nearly forgot to place the disc. Whistleblowers like Ken Johnston and Donna Hare have made controversial claims about NASA and moon photographs. Critics suggest they may not have worked closely with NASA, and Johnston's narrative changed over time. While some of Johnston's moon photos have been challenged, they haven't been completely debunked. The book Dark Mission by Richard Hoagland and Mike Barra explores these claims further. Donna Hare's account lacks strong evidence, and similarly, Carl Wolf's discoveries about a supposed base on the moon are based on his word alone. Though whistleblower accounts can be compelling, they should be taken with skepticism since some may be disinformation from intelligence agencies. There is also speculation regarding classified information held by NASA about lunar bases and ancient ruins. The moon itself presents unique and odd features, such as ringing when struck and having depths that are uniform despite its large craters. Scientists propose that the moon formed from two separate moons colliding, with one side always facing Earth while the other remains hidden. With renewed interest in lunar exploration, recent missions like China's Chang'e 6 have retrieved samples from the moon's far side, and NASA intends to send astronauts to the lunar South Pole in 2026. Other countries and private companies are planning their own lunar missions, signaling a new space race. Amidst these developments, some former astronauts and remote viewers claim to have seen unfriendly aliens on the moon. As missions head back to the moon over the next decade, the prospect of discovering extraterrestrial life could either be a monumental breakthrough or a threat to humanity. So that is it for today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to this channel, as we will be uploading a catalog of videos on a weekly basis. Stay safe. Until next time. See you in the next episode of Future Destiny.